Okay. Well, it's 8 o'clock. I'll call the August 11th transit meeting to order. Roll call. We have everyone present except for Kelly McCullough and Darren. And we also have Dave Bartlett and Swirsky, Keith Stray, and Paul Miller joining. Approval of minutes.
So move.
We got Brian, you moved? Yeah, I can't hear you.
No, that wasn't me.
It was me. It was me.
Oh, there we go. Richard.
I approve.
Okay. Joe seconded it. Motion been moved and seconded. All in favor? Aye.
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 Any opposed? Passes. Public hearing and none. Nothing replaced. Staff reports. Austin, your turn.
All right. Screen sharing, if someone could get me access to that. Thank you. Okay, I'll switch this over so that I'm actually looking at everybody when I'm reading this here. All right. Agenda for today, we'll go through ridership, the national CARES funding that we got from FTA. Yeah, our stout route, it's coming up here in only a few short weeks. Monitors in our buses, and then our 2022 transit budget discussion. Ridership. We're about 2 months into our new community free route at 1 hour route, as well as continuing our doorstop and Red Cedar. So doorstop and Red Cedar ridership increased from 419 in June to 446 in July, up 6%. And then up from the month before that, May to June was a 14% increase. Community route ridership increased from 162 in June up to 194 in July, up 17%. And then looking back to our route change that started June 1st compared to May, up almost 30% there. And as of now, there are no plans to add that extra hour in the morning and hour at night, but it isn't something that I'd like to take off the table for the future, just with the moving parts and with Stout starting soon here. We'll get the foot in the door, getting the Stout running well here in a few weeks, and look at this again. 5311 CARES funding. This is the national FTA funding. And in 2021, we had 100% funding and 100% reimbursement compared to on a normal year. Sorry, that should be 85-20 state grant. That is not going to happen in 2022, or sorry, 2021. It'll be 100% matched. So that equates to close to about $100,000 that us for Dunn County don't need to put forth to get that state funding. So through the CARES funding, it is 100% matched, and that's great news. Trying to carry forward money into next year with our option coming up to purchase those third and fourth electric buses. The Stout route, I met with Oliver, the Stout new stout representative with SSA, and before our meeting coming up here on 8/19, just spoke to him a little bit about upcoming mask policies. And at that point, when we talked, nothing had changed. And then the university last week, as well as UW Eau Claire, came out with a policy for masks inside all buildings. And then one thing that we've been trying to change for since I've been here is right now the stout route, the stout driver comes in at about 6:45 a.m. and he leaves at about 5:45 at night from the transit building here. And for doing a figure 8 loop around Stout for about 10 hours a day, that's a bit much. So the solution we found to that was ending at 4:30 instead, and just having the Stout PM driver come in at 4:30 instead of about 5:10 or so. So that'll help give the evening driver more hours and not make it so monotonous for the AM driver. And we did a survey with all the drivers, and that's what we're going to go with. Vinyl graphics in the university shelters. SSA is reaching out to different organizations to see what would work best and what organization to use for getting some vinyl graphics up on the Stout route, how to ride the bus, stuff like that. Right now in all of our shelters, there's brochures for the community route and other information on the bus, but this will be for the Stout campus itself, and it should look pretty cool when we get some mock-ups of what it could look like. LCD monitors, this is something that we saw up at Bay Area Transit up in Ashland. It's extremely easy to do and pretty cost effective for what you're getting out of it. It's just a 12-volt TV LCD monitor mounted in the bus. You stick a USB flash drive into it, and it can roll a slideshow of anything you want in the buses. Right now, we have probably about 3 or 4 different pieces of paper that are taped up in these buses with our Title VI complaint form, mask policy, track the bus app, all that. So all of that could be taken down and put on a running slideshow on these monitors. And for the Stout route specifically, I talked to Oliver, the SSA rep, and I said, if you could get us a running list of documents, PDFs every month that you'd like put on these from different organizations that reach out to, they could be on this bus. And when 300 to 400 kids ride this bus a day, it'll be great exposure, and it's extremely easy to do. And on the community route, it'll help Stout students understand how to ride that bus with it being a new route, as well as all of our community riders that are new to the route and upcoming city events and whatever. I guess the possibilities are endless on how to use these, but that's what we're looking to get implemented before Stout starts back up here in a few weeks. 2022 transit budget. Okay. So for 2022, it changed to 0.5% compared to 2021. Most everything. So if there's anything in here that anybody wants me to touch on specifically, otherwise I'll just go to where we adjusted a few things. Pretty small budget compared to the highway one that you'll go through in a little bit here, but a few things changed. Things don't change here until repair and maintain motor vehicles. We had to drop the budget down considerably. I'm going to jump down here a little bit to line 68 here. 3,100, like I said in previous meetings, was put in as the fuel budget for the year, and we spent 18,000 in 5 months of this year. So with my prediction next year, I put in 25,000 with 2 of these routes being electric vehicle routes. So on a normal year, around 36 to 40K on fuel. So I had to come up with that money somewhere here. So we dropped down our repair and maintain motor vehicles line from 42 down to 30. We've spent about $5,000 6 months into this year. We haven't had no major repairs that we've needed to do, but we've done pretty well with this line item. Service contracts, these are our GPS systems and our EcoLane dispatching software. And then that should be all that's around in that bucket. And I don't think we're going to break 10,000 this year on it. So we dropped that one down. Snow removal, we didn't get too aggressive with that. We had a pretty good year that way last year, but didn't want to drop that down too much. Office supplies, we increased just a little. And floor mats, we, instead of going through Cintas, paying them $21 every 2 weeks and getting a bill every 2 weeks that we had to pay, we bought our own rugs off Amazon that we could replace every 4 months at the same cost if they needed it. Fuel we increased, like I just talked about, to 25,000. Oil, grease, and antifreeze on hand, there was a budget of $100 in there. We brought that closer to 600 with just keeping a few quarts of oil and a few gallons of antifreeze on hand. Advertising was at 10. We dropped that down to 5 to get money towards the fuel budget. Was still having some money in the advertising bucket for Facebook ads. Yeah, so we could boost some of our upcoming posts if we make any changes to routes and stuff like that. No other changes there for a change of about 0.5%. On the capital side, we have made no changes yet. We are, we talked a little bit about next year with these 2 extra electric buses. If there'd be any changes, it would be that 470 that we could visit in round 2 when we get a better understanding from WSDOT and the FTA on these 2 third and fourth buses that potentially would come in 2022. But these first 2 buses that we're supposed to get in 2020 that switched to 2021, now that are probably getting delivered in first quarter of 2022, we are waiting on some more information to make that change to the capital side of things. So right now, we are leaving that. Any questions on the transit budget? Or any of the other subjects I talked about today? Okay.
I do have a question, if I may, Mr. Chair.
I'm muted. Go ahead, Dave.
Okay. On lights, heat and lights, I was just scrolling down through on my other computer looking. It, you dropped that down?
I gotta find that line item now here. Yes, from 10,000 to 7,500. So
Yeah, I guess I was looking at that to see how much you raised it because of 2 electric buses coming in. So what is your thinking on that? Have you not hit the $10,000 or?
So-
I was curious to see how much you raised that for the electric buses. That's why I was looking at that
Mhm.
line.
yeah, through 7 months of 2021, we're at 5,016. So that would be tight at 7,500 for this year. For 2022, that'd be pretty light. And that is something that we could update.
I
We
have no idea what it costs to charge, electric vehicles. I know there's an expense. They used to equate the electric vehicles that I had in business, the Volt and stuff that, it compared to about 95 miles to the gallon. So there was an expense that, that GM figured in for charging it compared to what fuel costs. Definitely at that time it was cheaper, but I expected that figure to raise.
Mhm.
Dave,
We
if
also,
I-
go
oh,
ahead.
Go ahead.
Go ahead, John.
If Dave, if I can interrupt, I think what we'll end up having to do is work with the charging company and the bus company, kind of figure out how many kilowatts per month per charge it's going to take. And we'll probably have to make a transfer here on his, the gas and the fuel line and probably throw that back into, because he's going to have a bigger electric bill. So I think what we're going to have to do is just convert some of the fuel dollars to electricity dollars.
Right, but he said that he dropped the fuel because he's gonna have 2 electric buses. That's why I expected the electric to go up already.
Yep.
Looking forward to 2022, we need to finish this solar grant this year. And I don't have a number on how many kilowatts or what that'll generate when those do get installed, but that grant comes due the end of this year for the solar panels on the building and in the field next door.
Yeah, I forgot about that. That may offset your increase in electricity.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions? If not, thanks, Austin.
Thank you, everybody.
Number 7, considerations for actions be taken by the committee, Public Works, Transit Division. Budget, we just did that, right? So should be good.
Mr. Chair,
Yep, go ahead, Keith.
we will need a motion. We'll need a recommendation from the commission regarding the budget that was reviewed.
Presented?
Correct.
Okay. Need a motion for the budget that was presented.
So move.
Brian moved, Joe seconds. Any discussion? All those in favor of the budget proposed? Signify by aye.
Aye.
All right.
Any opposed? Motion passes.
Thank you.
Nothing on 8. Next meeting will be September 8th. Is there any other business? Any questions? If not, the transit meeting could be adjourned.
Bye, all.
Bye.
Are we gonna move right into the highway or should I stop the live stream and then restart it?
Can we start it right away, right? Or should we?
Can we take 5?
Sure. Brian needs 5. We'll take 5. Okay.
Okay, I'll stop the live stream and the recording and then when you're ready, just let me know and I'll restart everything.
Sounds good.